Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you're having a great week in Denver, Colorado. We just got to jump right to Troy sports takes. There's so much sports that needs to be discussed. It's just
Mhm.
a week in Colorado sports. Troy, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, a lot's been going on. First of all, if the NBA playoffs have been awesome this year.
Yeah,
Like every game except the Cavaliers Heat game yesterday. But besides that, mostly every game has just been like just a thriller, just going down to the last shot, last play, really tough, hard physical basketball. Um, NBA has been awesome. Clippers Nuggets play tonight. I believe tip-off is at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
I think that's correct. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, the last game was incredible. It went down to literally the last play of the game. Jokic fired up a double teamed air ball from deep, or double team three from deep. He ended up airballing it, which in effect won them the game. Kind of Aaron Gordon was just right place, right time, able to get that last minute uh, dunk put back at the buzzer. Crazy finish. That Kawhi's playing out of his mind. Jokic is playing out of his mind. Series is knotted up 2-2. I'm super excited to tune into that game this evening.
yeah. Harden threw a bunch at Gordon.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was kind of like a jab, like a little jab.
Yeah, it's been a scrappy series. There's another like little scuffle in the last game,
Hmm.
but that game, man, the Nuggets. I was like so pissed because they blew like a 20-point lead. There was like a 23-3 run or something like that.
Hmm.
But have you ever seen a dunk buzzer beater like that? I think that's the
Oh
first time.
no, I've never seen that. And honestly, I think the Nuggets, this is my opinion, but I think that they were fortunate that the call on the court was the basket counted because I feel like it was so close on the replay that whatever the call on the court was, they probably would have stuck with it. So I
Yeah,
think that call that it was good on the court prevented the game from going to overtime and gave the Nuggets the victory. But just tied up 2-2. This thing
yeah,
series go either way. Both these teams are legit contenders, I think.
yeah. Dude, and last night, Golden State looks like tough, man.
Yeah, that game was wild too. It was like the first half was like a dogfight. It was just they couldn't play more than 10 seconds of game time without the refs blowing a whistle and breaking up a scuffle or calling a
Yeah.
technical foul, which as the audience, we love that.
Draymond ball, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had
Yeah.
a flagrant, a technical, five fouls, and the game-winning defensive shutdown at the end on the last shot. So uh, it's a Draymond game through and through.
Totally. That Gordon dunk, though, it's like it was like a thousandth of a second, because they were basically they slowed down frame by frame. I guess it's a digital camera, but still, like, and it was like LED off. His finger just barely comes off the ball. Maybe, I mean, there might be an argument that like his left hand was still kind of on the ball, but it
Hmm.
was just like it was just that fast.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just crazy because if Jokic hit rim, the game would have gone overtime.
Yeah, it would have gone OT.
It
Yeah,
just so happened it just landed right there.
I mean, Aaron Gordon is such an insane athlete. The way, I mean, he was halfway up the backboard when he caught that. Boom.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was incredible. The Lakers game too. So I don't know if you saw that one. Lakers suffered a tough loss. They blew a big lead. Anthony Edwards is playing out of his mind. 3-1
Yeah.
3-1 deficit, and you can't help but think like, is this it? Is this LeBron's? This is it right now.
Hmm.
I mean,
You think?
he could lose this series, and like he's gonna be 41 next year. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he can lead a team to a deep playoff run slash championship at this point in his career, with all this other insane talent and these other really, really strong teams in the West. Like, it feels kind of like it. I don't know. It would suck to see him, three will get bounced 4-1 or whatever, just get bounced in the first round. But this kind of feels like it for me.
Yeah, it'd be terrible, man. I do not want. I can't imagine NBA without LeBron. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, do you think he could transition, like if it's in him, to be like, hand the keys to Luca, come back next year off the bench, and I mean, he's such a competitor though, and he wants to win so bad. I wonder if he could do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like with legends and all-time greats like that, they typically they like to hang it up before the wheels really fall off, like
Yeah,
they want to walk out on top.
yeah,
And I feel like LeBron, if he plays another season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, like we might really see that decline where it's kind of like, oh man, like this is sad. So
the
like,
the Larry Bird where he's laying down on the floor on the on timeouts because his
yeah,
back's thrown out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I feel like some of the guys like to walk away before it gets to that point, but you never know. You could see maybe he'll want to play with his son a couple years, eventually be like shift into the role player position. We'll see. Um,
yeah.
yeah, last big thing to hope over the weekend or last Thursday since we last talked was the NFL draft, obviously, which all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Obviously, the big headline, Shador falling to the fifth round, 144th pick, which nobody expected. No one in his team expected it. No analysts expected it. None of the viewers or NFL fans expected it. It was just wild. I've seen a bunch of crazy opinions and all kinds of conspiracies being thrown around as to why that happened. But
Well, and those kids that pranked him, that's so mean.
yeah, that's oh man, if I was my kid, he'd be getting some severe punishment going on.
Oh,
Yeah, Tom, I don't know if you heard about
yeah,
that, but
what's
like
this?
the I think it's the son of the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator and his buddy somehow got Shador's phone number for the draft
They got it
and
off
called him.
the iPad. The his dad had the iPad laying around at the house, and he like got it off the iPad somehow.
He got Shador's number and he calls him and he's like, "Hey, I'm the GM for the New Orleans Saints, and we're gonna pick you in with this next pick." And Shador's like, "Oh, okay, thank you, sir. You made a legendary decision and all this." And then they
Are
kind of
you
blew the
serious?
ending. They blew the ending, but like Shador had gone 3 rounds without being selected. He expected to go top 10, and then he gets a prank call, and he handled it well. I mean, Troy and I have been talking about this all week because I was very upset. I was very upset because I love Shador. I feel like I know Shador, and I know he's flashy kind of guy, and that rubs people the wrong way. He's got a weird affectation to his voice, but I think it's just the Florida in him. You know what I mean? But
Mm,
he's a good guy. So if you like look at the outcome of the draft, he did get drafted. He's going to have a shot at the Browns for sure.
Hmm.
He's going to, I mean, spring training starts in 2 weeks. He's going to have a shot. So he got what he wanted. And the way he dealt with it, I thought was graciously, to fall that far down after a big $1 million draft room shenanigans and then getting pranked. Like he didn't even show a hint of bitterness or resentment. He was just like, you know what? I got an opportunity. I'm so excited to go play for the Cleveland Browns.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's in a position just to keep his head down, do what he does, do his thing, perform well, and the talent will speak for itself regardless of all the other chatter. So if he goes out there and he balls out, he's gonna do all right.
mm.
Yeah, he'll just do what he does with complete passes.
Hmm.
I think he's going to have a very successful and be a crowd favorite in the NFL. People just got to get to know him a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of people are saying the fall too is because, owners or teams they don't like it's the kind of media circus that he brings along with his dad, obviously, and kind of the attitude and the cockiness and like some remarks he's made.
Yeah,
I personally think it was more like the teams that had the picks in the top 10, what was it, like the Giants, Titans, uh,
Browns.
Browns, they didn't see him as, they didn't want to take him with those top picks. And then once like that portion of the draft was over, nowhere else for him made sense. Like,
Yeah,
teams didn't want to bring him on as the backup. They don't want to bring Shador Sanders and bring this huge, big thing to their team that's like, okay, now we're going to take all this focus away from our starting quarterback. Like it just felt like once that opportunity missed, it was more just like it didn't make sense for him to go anywhere until the late rounds. It
Yeah.
kind of just
Mhm.
snowballed.
Yeah, the idea that it would be punitive because he's a flashy guy with a big ego, it's like, dude, this is the NFL, man.
Hmm.
Like every single wide receiver that walks onto that draft stage is acts exactly the same.
Hmm.
I heard somebody though that did make a point too that they're talking about like this new kind of era of players where with NIL money and just the way the portal works and college football, like the players are just like divas
Hmm.
because
Mhm.
they can hit the portal, they can get traded, they can get new deals. They're making real good money,
Hmm.
millions of dollars, seven, eight figures sometimes. Whereas in the NFL, it's like, dude, you get drafted and like the owners own you.
Hmm. Yeah.
You're there's no portal, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just don't see that like the NFL is so competitive, the ownership is so competitive that they'd all somehow have a cabal of collusion to be like, let's not draft Shador to tell all these players that they can't be so flashy when really it's like that's what put butts in seats and sells jerseys anyway.
Yeah. I'm not buying that narrative at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah, so Shador but Travis went number two, and boy, the smile on his face, man,
Hmm. Yeah.
seeing him
Yeah.
dancing around Jacksonville.
Yeah. What a good fit for him. And yeah, he's
Hmm.
he's he's excited because he's going to an up and coming team. He's not going to one of those tanking franchises. So he's got to be ecstatic.
Totally. And it looks like they want to make him like the man. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a flop at this point. Jacksonville doesn't have anything. It's a proud franchise and they have football fans that like want to get excited.
Hmm.
So they got the opportunity now,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So great for him. Now, the one choice that you and I both wanted for Shador was Oakland. Now, or I'm sorry, Las Vegas. But I mean, you can't be mad at their pick.
No, I was thrilled. I have something like there's a reason for me to turn on their game now. Like as a
Mhm.
fan, I have incentive to go want to watch them play because they drafted a player that's exciting, which is just hasn't happened in years. So it's yeah, I was so happy. Yeah.
Is who do they got? They got Derek Carr is taking snaps now.
No, no, they have Geno Smith.
Oh yeah, Geno.
Geno Smith, which isn't, that's you're going for a sub 500 season with Geno if Geno Smith is your guy. But at least Ashton Jonty's like a step towards something, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Ashton is going to be electrifying, and they can scheme for him. Get
Hmm.
the ball with different looks. The O line for the Raiders are good. Raiders are a good football team. If they make a move and find somebody, I don't know, you could go get Joe Flacco or somebody from the Browns. you
Yeah.
know, I mean, Gino's good though. Gino's good too. I mean, he's not elite, but like he's a good football player. I don't know. I was just looking at the draft for like the entire AFC West, and I'm like, dude, is there a better division? I mean, look at the coaching in the
Hmm.
AFC West.
Yeah, it's stiff competition. Like I think even with the Raiders' current roster, they're still going to be contending for last. I mean, you got the Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, of course. Like they're not. It's probably the stiffest division in terms of competition, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the Broncos, I mean, very pleased with their draft selection. I mean, uh Sean Payton, just like dude's a wizard, man. He's great. They got with JD Barron, cornerback from Texas. So now our secondary is going to be unbelievably straps. They already acquired, a linebacker and safety. Of
Hmm.
course, you got PS2 and like,
Hmm.
dude, defense is like going to be nasty.
Yeah, they got a running back in round two also. So,
Yeah, RJ Harvey from UCF.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh, they're gonna be good next year, I think.
totally, man. Pat Bryant from Illinois, Savion Jones from LSU,
Hmm.
Hugh Robinson, Jeremy Crenshaw, and then they got that tight end
Hmm.
who's like 6'9" or something insane.
Hmm. Yeah.
He has
Yeah,
4 catches and they're all touchdowns.
Caleb Loner or something
Yeah,
like that.
Caleb Loner.
Yeah, Loner. Yep. But what is it? We got 5 months or 4 months. So 4 months
But
away.
spring training starts May 15th.
Yeah. Counting down the days till life has purpose again.
Totally. Nice. So fun. So fun. Love the draft. Love NBA playoffs. I'd also told Michael that we have to give a shout out to the Avalanche, to
Mhm.
all our Avalanche fans. We never talk hockey. I guess we're just not that big of fans, but the Avs are making an incredible playoff run.
Mhm.
Um, the one guy in particular, I got to go find his name because he had some kind of horrible catastrophic ACL injury and came back for the first game and like scored a goal.
Hmm.
Let me
Yeah.
see if I gotta get his name, but like shout to the Avs, man. They just look like absolute world beaters.
Mhm. I forget his name as well.
I'm looking here. Yeah, Michael, he's like, dude, why don't you guys ever talk about the Avs? I'm like, I
Oh,
know, man.
Gabriel Landeskog.
Yeah, there it is, Landeskog.
Hmm.
We need to get Michael on here to do like a Avalanche brief, or if anybody else listening wants to come on and give us the heads up on where the Avs are and how their season's gone, I would love to hear about it.
Yeah. 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 Growing up on the West Coast here, hockey's not the most popular sport, so I would
Yeah,
love to get into it more. Just I don't know. Need to watch it a little bit more.
yeah, totally. I agree.
Hmm.
There's room to grow as a sports fan.
Yep. Room to evolve.
Nice. All right. Sports Corner is over. Tom, let's get to what you got going on, brother. Happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you. I'm fresh off of a long birthday weekend, but I think I got a new segment for us to start looking at weekly now that the mountains are closing up shop. Although you still got a few weeks to get out there at a few of these mountains.
Nice,
Um,
man.
I have recently, I mean, I've always been fascinated, but recently even more so been fascinated with all of the construction and development, especially in the Denver area, but in greater Colorado. So this segment, and I was showing this to you last week, Ryan, but hugely inspired by the Developing Denver Instagram channel. Shout out to them. Everyone, if you're interested in new things being built or things popping up around Denver and the state in general, you got to check out this channel. Um, I don't know what program they use to make these like renderings of all this stuff, but
It's so cool.
yeah, it just looks, they're so good at explaining what's going on and like what it means for surrounding areas and how it's going to be done and stuff, and it's just, they are definitely worth a follow. I don't know if this is one of those like chain type Instagram channels where they got one for like each big city, but this is the one that I've been following. So Developing Denver on Instagram, check it out. I'm gonna go into two of my favorite ones from this past week. But like I said, anyone who's interested at all in this stuff, you gotta check out the Instagram channel, and we'll be featuring some more stuff from them. But the first one is a big development on the Colorado Mountain Rail Project. So I guess one of the counties involved just went and passed this through. So it's like a big push forward for the project. But for those who don't know, let me try to move our Zoom thing here so everyone can get a good look. There we go. So this rail system already exists up into Granby, which is just past Winter Park. So Denver to Granby, that is your Winter
Ski
Park
train.
ski train. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're really using that ski train project as a big, proponent of pushing this forward. But they are going to extend that line all the way out to Craig, Colorado. So moving through the hot sulfur springs, Kremling, through the big ranch area and Rabbit Ears Pass up into Steamboat Springs. There's going to be a new stop at Steamboat Springs Resort, and then Steamboat Springs downtown, and then moving forward to Hayden, Yampa Valley Regional Airport, and Craig, Colorado. So this is a huge undertaking to this mountain rail system, which historically is like the first railway through the Rocky Mountains. For those who don't know, this was like the OG path to get through. But this is not a passenger railway through Kremling and Steamboat and all that stuff at the current moment. So what they're hoping to do is, this proposal has given us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new potential new stations, and then a huge extension to the length of that passenger system. So you could hop on and take the train right to Steamboat. Probably, I better probably take you like 3 hours to do, but man, that's nice. I've done the Winter Park ski train, and it's so much fun. You hop on there, they get you there first thing in the morning as soon as the lifts open. You don't have to worry about snow on the roads or traffic or anything. They're serving drinks, they're serving food, whatever you want. It's good for the whole family. Now you could do that up to Steamboat, and it's nice. I'm definitely going to be inclined to take the train up for like a long weekend if this gets done. So that is one project that I thought was really cool to highlight.
It's so cool. Well, and plus it's like well, this is cool in 1860. What are we doing? Building railroads?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
The video is so cool too. Like the animation, like how it's like broken down so well.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just trying to actually play it, but it looks like I'm not logged into Instagram here on my browser.
It's really, and about this, the Developing Denver Instagram page too. They're really featuring these massive infrastructure projects, which is really cool. I mean, this might be an area that I would be really excited for Doge to go after. The place that like China really has America beat, and almost any other Asian country, is that when they decide to like do an initiative like this, they do it like that. With in the States, we have so much regulatory bodies and so many different things and special interests that you got to get past and blah, 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 that you can't get big things done like this really quick, and I feel like infrastructure wise, you want to build jobs, you want to bolster the economy, you do stuff like this, man, and get it done quickly. It's just so cool to be able to organize like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long, like, let's say you want to go from, downtown Denver to Steamboat, how long of a train ride would that be?
So I know that it's typically around like a 3-hour drive. But on the train, I suspect that it'll probably be just around that length as well. The train, I think, at least the Winter Park train moves a little bit slower than your, passenger car, but you get a much more of a straight shot on the train because you go through like, I think it's something crazy like 70 tunnels when you take it just to Winter Park. Mm-hmm. I mean, back in the 1800s, they were blasting through these mountains to make a railway possible for the gold rush and, all of the interstate commerce going on in that time that was heavily supplied by railways. So, it's like tunnel after tunnel, and as a result, you're going like in a much straighter line through the mountains. Currently, you got to kind of stay south along I-70 until you get to, what's that, Silverthorne area. And then you got to take a right, drive up to, I think, Kremling there. And then you got to come around. So with this, you're doing much more of a straight shot. So even though the train goes a little slower than the cars, I think it'll probably end up being around the same time. But I don't know exactly, with this development project, what types of updates they're making to the railways or like the train car systems. So maybe, it could be a faster solution, but without a doubt on like a Saturday or Sunday morning when there's ski traffic or potentially a snowstorm, it will definitely be faster. There's no way it's not.
Yeah. For reference, Troy, a little story. If you look at that Oak Creek, that little dot there, which is just a tiny little town, and this would be a huge boon for some of these towns that 20 years ago were kind of decimated by meth. They're rebounding, but this would be amazing for them. If you go hard left, you see how there's like kind of the yellow that's surrounded by the green.
Next to Oak Creek.
If you go hard left from Oak Creek, or
Yes.
just kind of, yeah, like a 90-degree from that road, those are the flat tops. So like that's the area that I've been hunting my entire life. And if you go right down to that real dark green place by the flat tops, that's pretty much exactly where Heidi got scoped that one year. And we had to drive her out of an hour and a half out of National Forest to get stitches on her face
Oh, wow.
in Craig. So we had to go into Craig. So the like Steamboat is a pretty thriving place, you know, as far as
Steamboat's
Colorado goes.
huge in terms
It's
of
huge.
local
And
economy.
Craig's pretty big too.
Mhm.
But like having a train that connects all this just brings like so much vibrant energy, you know, especially like towns like Hayden and like Kremling could really use it. I'm actually a big fan of both those towns, but this is super cool.
Yeah. No, it'll be awesome. And I think that they were estimating somewhere between like 2 and 4 years for this to be done. So that's not as long as some of these other projects. And I think that's because the foundation for the rail system already exists through these areas. It's just not passenger train potential.
Yeah, they're 150 years old, the railroads.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
exactly. So that was, I believe, when I rode the Winter Park train, they said the original route through the Rocky Mountains. But anyway, that is a super cool one. Thanks to Developing Denver for that information. Like I said, go follow them if you want to see more about this stuff and the cool animations that they have. Next week, I'll make sure that my browser's logged in and I could show some of those animations on the stream here.
Quick question before we move on. Do we need to load up the wheel for the announcement?
I already did the wheel.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. I was going to say I could do it, but if it's already loaded.
I got the wheel ready. And
Okay.
I have one more Denver development story that I want to highlight. This is one that we've talked about in the past, but they are approved and moving forward with Phase 1A. Again, that's Phase 1A of a very, very large project that we've talked about in the past. The Ball Arena redevelopment plan from the Kronkskis, right, Ryan? Or the Kroenke, how do we say it?
Stan Kroenke.
Stan Kroenke's big redevelopment plan. I got a blueprint right here.
What's the caption for the Instagram post?
Oh,
It's phase one of the Ball Arena, isn't it?
It is the 6th and 7th post down. So
Got it. I see. Okay.
first 4 buildings revealed in Ball Arena redevelopment plan, and then the next one, KSE submits Phase 1A plans for Ball Arena redevelopment. So this is the first part of a multiple decade-long plan to revitalize and just actually completely, change the area around Ball Arena to almost an entire second downtown of Denver. So Phase 1A here is going to include a new proposed hotel, two proposed residential buildings, and a performance venue. So a new concert performance venue that is going to be on the southwest corner of the Ball Arena complex, which is North Spear and Wingcoop. That is the intersection that this is going on. So I was just looking into this. The new performance venue looks really cool. It's going to be a large scale performance venue, which, Denver's concert and music scene is gigantic and thriving as it is. So another big professional scale venue will definitely shake things up a little bit and, provide some much needed new excitement to the scene. And then also So you have this big hotel that's going to be built right along Ball Arena. I'm sure that is going to be a super nice hotel. And then 2 residential buildings. Keep in mind, the entire plan for this redevelopment is something insane, like 40 or 50 plus new skyscraper sized buildings. So this is going to be 4 of those new developments. And then this entire area as well will be a huge underground parking garage, in addition to all of these performance venues, 2 residential buildings, and the hotel. All of it will be big shared parking space for all of those use cases. And this is the first phase, and it's going through, and it's happening. So it's really exciting to see like this big decades long project kicking off. I think they're going to be breaking ground on this at some point, but all the plans submitted. It looks like this is going to be starting up sometime soon. I don't think there's any official date yet, but another really cool one and another awesome animation to go check out on the Developing Denver Instagram page. So shout out to those people, whoever's making these animations. Like, they're so cool to watch, and they're really
Totally.
really
You know,
fun to
one
learn.
thing I'm looking for too here, Tom, like the way that Ball Arena is just kind of snuggled in between Spear, I-25, the river. When you're trying to get out of there after a sporting event or a concert, it is a complete disaster.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder, like, with this much traffic and new kind of stuff, like what they're going to do. They're going to have to figure out some other portals to like get in and out of there, because man, it's bad. You know, like
Yeah.
last time I was down there, I think it was my daughter and her friends went and saw Tyler the Creator. And so, you know, we live just down the street by Sloan's Lake. So you go down, you're like, okay, I'm going to pull up on Spear and make a run for it and try and get there early. But dude, it took like an hour to get home, and I'm like literally like 8 blocks away.
That's insane. You know, I imagine they're probably going to include some sort of underground system, because they're implementing all of these parking garage structures underground.
So cool.
They got to have some sort of like underground pathway from I-25 into this area.
Yeah.
What about you got the gondolas too, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Leave the game in the gondola.
You
You
know,
could take a gondola to Craig. They're
Yeah.
gonna put it on the train.
From Ball Arena to Steamboat.
You're going to have people in their ski boots and helmets in downtown Denver walking onto the gondola with just their board, getting on that, hopping on the new ski train, and riding at Steamboat.
That's right. You pop out 3 hours later, you're right on the lift. You're done. You just ride down.
Look, I got ski in, ski out in downtown Denver. The gondola's right here.
Nice.
Man, that's funny. You know, we hated on the gondola at first, but once I saw the actual proposed plans and found out it wasn't just 16th Street Mall, then it made a little more sense, and it actually sounded like a pretty cool option. So we'll see.
Well, the way that Developing Denver is displaying it, I'm like, we should put these everywhere. It looks amazing. Like we live in the future.
Exactly. If they just put one of these Developing Denver animations on every council or planning meeting, I think things would happen a lot faster. Yeah.
Oh, well, look at that. That looks good.
Yeah. Looks nice. Cool. Well, that's what I got for my new Developing Denver segment. Shout out to that Instagram page.
I like it. Should we drop into events? You want to do events too, Tom?
Yeah, let's go through it real quick. I got a couple good ones. I mean, I think it's safe to say there's not going to be any more snow this year, so we're full spring mode. Shout out to our sponsor for this week, Denver Mini Derby. Another Drink Denver event similar to the Denver Ramen Fest. We have been running a giveaway since last week, and we are going to do a big, nice little wheel of names spin to give away those 2 tickets in just a second. But first, of course, we got to highlight the event here. So, Denver Mini Derby. There's going to be some mini horse and corgi races, live bands, DJs, barbecue, gourmet food options. You got an open bar with your mint juleps, beverages from Mile High Spirits, Woodford Reserve, Kentucky Cold Snacks, Branch and Barrel Distilling, and so many more. So basically, tons of drinks, mini horse races, corgi races, music, food. There's going to be a best dress contest. Everyone loves to get dressed up for these types of events around the Kentucky Derby. And an unmatched atmosphere. Yeah, so it seems pretty cool.
Heck yeah, man.
Your GA tickets are from $107 right now. We're giving away 2 of them, so over $200 value. Let's bring up our wheel of names. We could see here that our Denver Ramen Fest interest was much larger. I think our fan base is really ramen catered. But we're spinning. Let's see who it's going to be.
The Venn diagram of ramen lovers and corgi lovers, however, is a perfect circle.
Yeah, I think so. Is it going to stop? There it is. Toria 1414.
Wow. You know what? She commented like 12 times on the post.
She is lucky. You know what? Because we are only considering those one entry, but shout out to Madison. Sorry that you didn't get it this time, Madison. She commented on both TikTok and on Instagram, so I gave her 2 entries right there. But Toria, you are this week's lucky winner, and we're gonna reach out. I think she was on Instagram, Troy.
I'll send her a DM.
Cool.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Mini Derby. Let's go.
Congrats to Toria. She'll be at the Mini Derby drinking some mint juleps this weekend. So that's on May 3rd. Everyone keep in mind. I think they are running low on tickets. As always, these Drink Denver events are super popular, but check that out. And then I have the 2025 Cinco de Mayo Festival. This is going to be down at Civic Center Park. We have a couple events over the next few weekends at Civic Center Park, so they already have their infrastructure being put up. And this time of year, I think it's a few times a year they have that core infrastructure in place for some big events happening in the Civic Center, and they leave it up. They share it through events, so I think it's a really cool way to use that space, bring a lot of energy into right in the middle of town. And kicking it off first, Cinco de Mayo, Denver Cinco de Mayo Festival, unforgettable celebration at the largest and longest standing regional Cinco de Mayo Festival in Colorado. Mexican culture, weekend full of exciting events, contests, and nonstop entertainment across 3 dynamic stages. So there's going to be lots of food, merchandise, artisans, fun for the whole family. Lots of big sponsors coming through for that. So this is a free festival, just so everyone knows. And
that's awesome.
I'm trying to see here. I don't know if you even necessarily need any tickets. I think you just show up for this one. I believe that's the case. So tons of vendors, tons of Mexican culture going on at the Cinco de Mayo Festival, kicking off a string of Civic Center Park events over the next few weeks. A few more things. We got First Friday kicking off this week for the month of May, and this is obviously a big one because it's for sure going to be nice outside. So everyone's getting set up. We got multiple different locations around town. Some of our favorites: South Santa Fe for your gallery type art exhibitions. Go down there, get drinks, food, see and purchase whatever art you want in like a gallery type setting. And then you get your kind of more street art / booth setup energy up in Rhino if you're looking for something like that. There was one other cool area. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to find out where it was that I wanted to highlight. But
Was it a First Friday thing?
yeah. I know Cherry Creek does a art walk as well. Let me just see, because there was a certain one that I wanted to highlight, and I just need 1 second. But either way, First Friday is a solid event to go check out. And when it gets to this time of year, you know, everybody's going all out because they know it's going to be nice. All of their art and hard work is not going to get rained or snowed on. Actually, well, you can't be too sure about that, but I cannot freaking find this. Stanley Marketplace. This is in Aurora, 2501 Dallas Street. Stanley Marketplace. They are going to do a big First Friday event this weekend. So,
Cool.
crafting with Curious Jane. So you do your own arts and crafts here. Check that out. Let's move right on. Farmers markets starting up this weekend. A big amount of them are either kicking off on Saturday or Sunday for the first time of the season. I think pretty much all of them except Highlands is what we found were starting up this weekend. So those are in all areas around town. You can go check it out just by Googling Denver Farmers Markets. And then that site there has a huge list of them, where they're located and their times. Each of them has kind of different hours and times. Ones will be on Saturday or Sunday, so you got to go check it out. See what's closest to you and where you want to go through. A couple more quick things. I know I got a few events today. Backdoor Sessions at Mockingbird. This is an event promoted by myself, but I will not be performing. This is a cool group of homies that are going to be pulling through Mockingbird Club in Rhino.
Nice.
They're big on the minimal house energy, dance music, obviously, garage, indie, breaks, funk, disco, and beyond. I will be there. Check that one out. I wore my Dylan Francis Sucks shirt today.
Nice.
Why do you hate Dylan Francis?
He's really not deep enough. Anyway, now that's just a little inside joke for a little Dylan Francis fan community and DJ Hansel community. But for those who don't know, DJ Hansel is really just Dylan Francis with a tuxedo and sunglasses on.
He's so hot right now.
He's big. DJ Hansel is huge and very deep, of course.
Very deep.
But Dylan Francis at Temple on Friday, $54.
Nice. It's a good price.
Yeah, I mean, Temple's a cool club. It's like your standard nightclub, bottle service, big dance floor, big stage, big lights. So check that. It's almost like a Vegas type nightclub with way less bottle tables. But worth checking out. I like Dylan Francis. It's always a good show, always funny, amazing production. So there's that. And then Red Rocks, we will quickly run through who's playing this week. Tonight, I think we have Amy Schumer. Yes, tonight, Amy Schumer, 7:30 p.m. Get some comedy. I think she's kicking off the comedy string this year. Tomorrow, Two Friends, La Sebo, MC4D, and Beach Crimes. And then this looks pretty cool. Thursday, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
It'll be fun.
More comedy. The Restless Leg Tour. Friday, Turnover with Tiger's Jaw and Balance and Composure. Saturday, Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit with Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway. And then Sunday, Matt Rife, more comedy. Let's look. Matt Rife's a comedian, correct? I'm not.
I think so.
He
I don't
is.
know.
He definitely is.
You got Skrillex on the 13th. That'll be a big one.
Oh, yeah. So you're
That'll
just
be-
going to have to take out another mortgage on your house for that. Let's see where Skrillex is at. Ticket price.
Take out another mortgage on your house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see what
Get it pretty.
the fan exchange is going for.
Is it sold out already?
Oh, it was sold out 5 seconds after it went on sale. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's
When
an insta sell.
Did it go on sale?
It went on sale like last month, so he's kind of cuts it pretty close in terms of how quick. You are not getting in there for any less than $286. It looks like $300 is the baseline right now.
And that's probably like nosebleeds.
Well, Red Rocks is actually pretty much all GA,
GA,
especially.
Oh,
for
it's
these,
just wherever you find a spot.
yeah,
Okay.
especially
Yeah,
for
okay.
these types of shows, they'll have a lower section that's reserved, like right in the front for VIP. Handicap accessibility, things like that. But most of Red Rocks is typically all general admission, especially for dance music type shows. Other concerts will be assigned seating, but I think they get the most people in by just doing GA.
Got it.
So yeah, see if those tickets come down. I think the face value for them is like $130. So that's already a super expensive Red Rocks ticket, and people are reselling those like crazy. It actually caused a big stir in terms of bots buying up tickets, and the legitimacy of it all. Like, is it actually bots? Is it AXS reselling the tickets higher? No one really knows, but Skrillex made some comments on it, and AXS obviously has their comments, but they need to figure it out. They could do
Big
better.
time. They got to figure that out.
They could
It's
do
just
better.
not fair.
I wonder what does Access offer the like payment plan for tickets? Did you guys see that like 60% of Coachella payment planned their tickets or something like that?
My God.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
insane
Wow.
statistic like that.
I mean, a
30% interest.
Coachella tickets must be so expensive.
It's like a staggering rate of people setting up financing concert tickets, which is just that's crazy to me.
It's ridiculous, but that's what we've come to now with these prices going up, and hopefully they figure out the buying and reselling of these things, because it really is not fair, and real fans are not going to get to go see Skrillex without paying hefty prices. And then you're going to have these bots, making insane amounts of profits that artists don't get to see. Promoters and people who work hard to put these shows on, they don't get to see any of that. AXS is really just sucking it all up. And these bots and resellers are obviously taking a huge chunk as well. So whatever. That's all
Very
I got.
uncool. All right, cool. I got a couple of things. The full list of events for the week, and I got a bunch of them, you can get on our newsletter. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go to realgooddenver.com and put in your email address. I think we're pushing past 9,000 people right now, and appreciative of all of them. So I'll put a whole bunch of events. I'm going to do restaurant openings in there, all the sports stuff, links to buy all the tickets. Check it out there. And of course, everything we talked about today. A couple of shout outs from people that have reached out to us either on social or through email. I want to give a shout out to Backcountry Beauties. It's a company that does outdoor events for women in Denver and Colorado. It's an app and it's on Facebook. You can check them out, Backcountry Beauties. I also want to give a shout out to the 46th anniversary of Constitution Day for the Republic of Marshall Islands. And that's a big shout out to Pina. That is happening May 23rd to 24th. So in a couple of weeks, 3 days of sports, kids games, prizes, and food. Sounds really awesome. And then Troy, you mentioned something from a gal that had an event coming up at Washington Park. She also reached out through the website, so I'll give her a shout out too. This is for Olivia on May 11th between 6 and 9 p.m. at the Washington Park Boathouse. Empower is having their annual Luminaria event. Empower is an international nonprofit with a specific mission to empower, support, and connect children and young adults who have experienced the loss of a parent. 100% of proceeds from the Luminaria event fund year-round events and mentorship and help ensure all programs remain at no cost to the family. So what a cool organization and what a fun way to do it. May 11th at 6 to 9 p.m. at Washington Park Boathouse. So I'm sure it'll be all lit up right there on the lake. I heard rumors that there's a partridge running around Wash Park right now that they don't know how got there.
Whoa.
And of course, seasonally there's always a bald eagle right over by there. So sounds like a great way to spend the evening. Let's see. One other thing I wanted to be sure to mention is shout out to Denver Public Schools sports. This is a follow-up from a story I reported on, maybe a frustration I had, where the Denver Broncos were put in, I think, something like $4 million. Now, I might be wrong on this number, but they basically wanted to buy brand new Axiom helmets for every 5A and 6A football player in the state of Colorado. So the Axiom football helmets are at least $1,000. I think they're like $1,200. They have to be specially fitted to each kid's head.
Whoa.
Yeah, the kids that play the second year with the helmets, well, they don't get the special fit, but hopefully they have the same size head as the person before them. But the controversy is that there is some app data that's stored about the size of the head with the company so that they can have information about the helmet's performance. And Denver Public Schools was a little bummed out that they were collecting data on the kids. Now, I understand that concern. My issue was they also have an app that tracks the time it takes for kids to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, dude, I want to see some consistency about monitoring data, because I don't think I really care if Axiom knows the size of my kid's head as opposed to like DPS knows how long it takes my son to go number one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So basically there was a presentation from Axiom and the district shows up. They wanted a bunch of feedback from the parents. People showed up and they went to kind of debate internally if they were going to do it. Well, my son wrote a pretty impassioned and really good letter to the athletic director for Denver Public Schools. And he sent that email in second period. Third period, he was walking down the hall and the gym teacher was like, "Hey, Ozzy, come here. Did you send this email?" So in that time, one class period, the athletic director had read it, had found out who was the gym teacher at his school, contacted him, and then had him contact my son. So
Wow.
he got pretty far up the flagpole with his argument. And I would like to think that like his argument found fertile ears and they were able to get it passed. So shout out to Denver Public Schools for doing the right thing and protecting our kids' brains, because these Axiom helmets are super drip and it's going to be really cool to see everybody with them.
Nice.
That's it for me. You guys want to do a real quick highlight before we get out of here? Troy, did you prepare a highlight for the week?
I could go over a quick highlight real quick. Highlight from last weekend. Tried a place called King Taco. Never tried it before. It's an LA taco stand chain. I would say wasn't the best taco I'd ever had, but for the price, and if you're in the mood for some spicy street tacos, it's a good spot. You got to check it out. It's like $2.50. They have, carne asada, al pastor, chicken. They have burritos, quesadillas, but it's like really cheap, kind of like street style Mexican food. They're all over LA. They have a ton of locations. Went and checked that out for the first time. We were just in the area and one happened to be by. Been wanting to try it. That was definitely a highlight. Had some delicious, spicy street tacos this weekend. Can't go wrong with that.
$2.50 a pop. You don't feel bad about eating a half dozen of those.
No.
Volume eating.
Yeah, and at that
Mm.
price, you're not expecting a Michelin star taco, which makes it better. So
Yeah, totally.
it was good.
Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
How about you, Tom?
Yeah, for sure. I can't believe we have not mentioned this place before. Ryan, I feel like you got to know something about it, but the Domo Japanese Country Food Restaurant. Wow. I went there for the first time. This is like an OG, super, authentic, legit Japanese food restaurant. Um, they have an entire museum. It's all authentically built with traditional materials. They have so many relics and artifacts inside of this restaurant. An entire museum section, also an entire functioning, maybe one of the only ones in Denver, Aikido dojo, um, with a dojo master trained by the original founder of Aikido back in Japan. I mean, this place is legit. And then to top it all off, a huge outdoor section inside some amazing traditionally Zen Japanese gardens that you're free to roam throughout the course of your meal, get some nice tea, get some like the best authentic Japanese food I've ever had. We're not talking just like your standard sushi restaurant stuff. We're talking about like real legit stuff.
Country style.
Yeah. We tried to go catch the end of the cherry blossom because they have a huge cherry blossom tree. If you go check out the images on Google, huge cherry blossom tree right in the middle. We actually just missed the best part of it, but they leave all the leaves around and all the flower petals and everything, so it's like super nice and authentic in there. And man, the garden is just like a thing in itself. So nice. We were there around an hour or two before sunset, getting some great rays in there, and the food was just absolutely insane. You can't really explain it without just going to check it out yourself.
There's a ramen with a whole fried egg in it here. That looks
Dude, it's so good.
There's a great ramen. They have some traditional Japanese curries, some nice appetizers. Also, this menu is ever changing. They are explaining lots of different things on the menu. We actually got some Japanese beef tacos that they threw onto the menu as a special limited time item because it was one of the favorite things for the kitchen staff to make for themselves, which is apparently a very popular way. They had like a whole name for this, a whole Japanese word for this style of like menu experimentation, that specifically a new item gets added because the kitchen staff likes to create this for themselves with the materials at hand. So those were just absolutely amazing. Great sake. I mean, an all around amazing experience at this place. You can get lucky and see some Aikido classes in session if you take a look in at the right time and something's going on. It's a solid place to check out. So just keep in mind there are no reservations at this place. They recently, a year or two ago, shut their doors because of how popular they were getting. They had to shut down their doors because of a huge viral TikTok. They were unable to provide the level of service that they themselves were happy with because of the amount of people that were coming. So they shut down their doors, reassessed their entire model and everything, and now they are back open. There is no reservations allowed. They are open for walk-ins only, and they are only open until 7 p.m. So you got to get there. We hit up the place at 4:30, and we actually got right in. No problems at all, no wait time. But especially during the cherry blossom season, they have lines, out the door for sure. So think about when you want to go, and it's really just worth it, and I can't recommend it enough.
the virality of Japanese food and ramen on TikTok strikes again.
Exactly.
Close their doors.
Tom is all ramen all the time.
Yeah.
Fun fact or fun story about Domo. So Domo is how I started doing jujitsu. You know,
Wow.
Domo is basically the Japanese Casa Bonita in Denver. It is unbelievable. And they have the Homa Sensei is the head chef. He built the whole thing, and he's also the master of the Aikido dojo, which is called Nippon Kan.
Yeah.
And they have like a beginner series. And this was at a time when I was transitioning kind of out of my music career, and I was like, okay, I want to get back into martial arts because I wasn't as afraid to like. I thought I was going to hurt my hands, and I didn't want to mess my hands up playing guitar. So I was like, all right, I'll go do Aikido because they got the dope pants. Like out of all the kimonos, like Aikido has the dope pants. So went to the dojo with Homa Sensei and did like I think it was like a 12-week program with Heidi. And you train and learn a lot of tumbling. Like Aikido is more. It's not necessarily they get mad at me for saying that. Not necessarily a self-defense as much as it's like just like a style and expression and a way of harmonizing energy. Really, it's almost a philosophy more than anything else. But that being said, the black belts from Nippon Kan for many years were kind of the ceremonial bodyguards of whoever the mayor of Denver was. Like Homa Sensei has been in Denver forever and is an absolute icon. So it was after I finished kind of that beginner series at Nippon Kan that I was like, you know what, I love this. I'm gonna go train jujitsu now. That was probably, I don't know, 15 years ago. But
Wow.
yeah, that place is absolutely extraordinary, and their bowls are just massive and so delicious.
Oh,
Yeah.
all the food and plating was just amazing there, and it's super
I have
cool.
to check that out next time I'm there. It sounds so good.
Yeah,
It
you'd
was
love it, Troy.
some of the best Japanese food I've ever had, and yeah, just being able to look into the dojo, it's a really cool, huge, pure white floor and mat, and they're doing everything from weapons training with like swords and staffs and all of that stuff to hand-to-hand combat. So super cool to be able to take a look in there.
The dojo looks like, remember when Neo and Morpheus are training in that dojo in the Matrix? That's what it looks like. It looks exactly like you want the dojo to look. It's sick.
Yeah, everything's so authentic, and just even if you don't eat outside in the garden, next time I want to go eat in the dining room because it's like you feel like you're in the countryside of Japan, and they have all authentic items and relics on the walls to see. Man, I can't wait to go back there, to be honest.
Heck yeah.
So cool.
Nice. My highlight was, buzzer beater dunk by Aaron Gordon. How can you beat that? We ran a little bit over, but hey, thanks guys. Thanks for running over. This was a fun episode.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. And congrats to our giveaway winner.
Yeah.
Those tickets will be emailed over sometime in the next couple of days.
Yes. Awesome.
Awesome. Shout out to the listeners. Definitely go to realgooddenver.com and subscribe to the newsletter. Other than that, keep the ears peeled. We'll have more giveaways coming soon.
All right. Thanks.
Bye,
guys.
everybody.